Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well. So, is a very highly rated Chelsea youngster for sale? Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. This is going to get interesting. Rumours are flying, and we might have got clarity on it. So, hold that thought. Now, go and check video number 1 if you haven't done so already from earlier on today. Enjoyed. I actually went through quite a lot in that video. I think we had about 10 or 11 different topics, all crammed into, what was it, an 18-minute vid? So yeah, go and have a look and enjoy it. Much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts over there, because I went over a lot. This one's going to be a lot more straightforward, but a lot more to the point, right? And a lot more concise. Why? We've got news on this geezer right here, Mr. Josh Acheampong. After his performance against ES Tunis, which I advocated for, saying he should have been man of the match as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, fans have got to vote for the superior player of the match in, different ways. And it was Tosin that got it. And he did play well, don't get me wrong. And so did Enzo with the 2 assists. But for me, in terms of who was the standout, it was Josh. Now, some will say, yeah, but that was against ES Tunis. So, you know what I mean? But still, he's at an age and at a level where when he's called upon, you expect errors. You expect some mistakes. You expect, him to not be as good as maybe some of the others. But no, he's holding his own. Every time he's called upon, he's holding his own. And like I told you guys, tidy performance, clean, no mistakes. Shows a lot of maturity. So let's get into what the latest is, because it wasn't looking good. Here it is. So, Miguel Delaney came out earlier on saying there is a belief Chelsea may be willing to sell Josh Acheampong for £35 million. We went into more detail, saying Borussia Dortmund are exploring a deal for Josh Acheampong. There is now a belief among suitor clubs that Chelsea may be willing to do business for £35 million. Interesting. Interesting. Now, these rumours, in terms of the interest from Dortmund, is valid, apparently. Apparently it's valid, right? It's convenient that it comes at a time when we're going after Gittins. So this is where the fear started to creep in earlier on, thinking, hang on, is he going to be part of the Gittins deal? Are we going to do a little bit of, FFP business here? But we get Gittins, they get Acheampong, it gets knocked off a little bit of the price. We're laughing and we're happy, and we got someone off the books who's pure profit, and you know the gist. So the concerns were real. I came on the timeline at that point, everyone was having a meltdown. Like, oh my God, Acheampong, hell no, hell no, hell no. And I agree, hell no, I don't want this player being sold, no way. Well, it's funny, as soon as the rumours were coming out, right, as soon as they were, in fact, let me give you guys the time, just so you guys can understand roughly. You're going to see, what you're about to see is Dubai time. So, this article come out at 9:28 p.m. So you could say roughly around 9:20 p.m., right? These started doing the rounds. That's 6:20 in the UK. So around 20 past 6 UK time, people started hearing what was going on. 40 minutes later, the Chelsea website and the Chelsea social media team put this out. Josh is prepared for the knockout challenge after his solid performance on Tuesday. As you can see the time there, 10:09. That's 10:09 for me. So that's 7:09 UK. Is there a little hidden secret there, from the Chelsea admin, basically calming everyone down? Perhaps, at that moment, perhaps it was. Because an hour after that, we then got this. Kieran Gill saying, told Chelsea have no intention of selling Josh Acheampong this summer. Natural that there will be rival clubs who like him because he's a talented 19-year-old, but considered potential star of Chelsea future and still progressing. And that's where the nerves started to calm down. But then, about 40 minutes later after that, we got this, and it's all the big guns now coming out with the news as of right now to say that Josh isn't going anywhere. Here's Ben Jacobs. Josh Acheampong is not for sale, despite links with Dortmund. He's not available and is part of Chelsea's plans for years to come. On top of that, Fabrizio Also, at the very same time as Ben Jacobs, saying Chelsea maintain their position on Josh Acheampong, no intention to sell the player this summer. New contract was agreed a few months ago, and he's seen as key part of the project despite interest from several clubs. It's the same line from all of them that are all coming out at the same time. This is actually a really good brief. They've clearly all been informed on the same information at the same time, and they're all putting it at the same time, but it's what we want to hear. So, but we will remember this. We will remember this. Everyone's coming out and saying he's not for sale. God forbid something happens this summer. God forbid that something happens this summer. Later on in the window, oh, Josh might be sold. I swear, if that happens, all of these that I just read to you, actually, well, it's in the video now. This video is here. It's not going anywhere. So I'll just go back to this video and show you what I showed you, basically. Everyone said he's not for sale. Clearly, Chelsea are saying he's not for sale. I'd like to think he's not for sale. I mean, surely. A very talented right back. He's tidy, like I said. He's been very reliant. Whenever we've had to call upon him, he's been very reliable, top class, doesn't really make errors. And at a time where we have to consider Reece James and his fitness, we still don't know for sure. He's been much better than we've anticipated. And thank goodness, because at one point I thought he was cooked. Reece James and his fitness, we got to bear in mind, but at the same time, Gusto and his complete lack of form, understanding, system. Under Maresca, Gusto looks like an amateur player. So you have to consider, I would absolutely leave Josh Acheampong there. Absolutely. In case. And right now, if I've got to pick, who do I choose between Josh and Gusto? I'm sorry. Josh is ahead of Gusto. Easily. So I hope he's here to stay and he's not going anywhere. Because I think Josh is someone that can go pretty far. So let's wait and see. Now, that's Josh Acheampong, not for sale. Let me know your thoughts. All is good. But, sorry, indigestion. Don't worry, basically. Don't worry. Tyreek George is another one. Well, let's get into the latest on Tyreek George from Kieran Gill. Tyreek George on if he'll be staying next season or better to leave on loan for game time and Chelsea trying to sign another left winger. He says, I'm not really too sure. There's always going to be competition, whether they sign one or not. I'm always ready to learn. Evil Saka. Evil Saka. Yeah. No, honestly, Tyreek George is another one. Tyreek George is someone that you can tell, obviously, he's not ready to be, the main left winger. But every time we've had to call upon him, he's done a good job. He's not had one bad game. You know when you go, oh my God, no, George had a stinker. I've not had to say that. He's not. Again, very reliable. I think we should absolutely keep him here for now. For now. I say for now, why? Because we need to see what happens with this left winger situation. If Chelsea only get Gittins, for example, then we absolutely have to keep Tyreek George. If Chelsea get Gittins and get Fofana, for example, then yes, of course, we can send Tyreek George on loan. If we get Gittins and Kudus, for example, someone that can play along any of the front line, then at that point, okay, we probably can let Tyreek George go on loan, but it's a little bit risky as well, just in case. We need to give it a little bit of time, see what's going to happen, because we don't know. We legitimately do not know. But to sell, hell no. Hell no. Tyreek George is absolutely someone that should be given an opportunity. Whether he's not ready now and he gets it later, or if he stays and he develops and then he gets it eventually, one way or another, he needs to get that opportunity because he is a very good footballer. And he's organic and he's authentic. And I like his style. You see, Tyreek George isn't someone, and he's come from the academy, he's come from English football as well, but he's got a level of technicality, which I like in a winger. I mean, like Sancho, for example, when he was with us, was very like, okay, look, cut in, shoot. And, well, most times, look, cut in, pass, because he didn't shoot. The few times he did shoot, to be fair, he put it top bins. But you know those wingers that just execute. Like, nah, I believe a winger should be able to use some creativity and try and, you know, sometimes they got to get themselves out of situations, or sometimes they think of certain combinations, or they have the skill to dribble past players. Or Tyreek George strikes me as someone that does have a little bit of that ability, at least, you know. And I enjoy watching Tyreek George. So for me, absolutely needs to stay. Absolutely. At the club, of course. If he needs to go on loan, he goes on loan, but absolutely needs to stay. So that's that. Let me know your thoughts in relation to our academy boys. Good old Acheampong and Tyreek George. Let me know what you think. Arsenal. Now, this is a very interesting name. A name that I was expecting to hear long before, but we didn't hear a peep up until now. Here it is. Arsenal add Eberechi Eze to their list of left-wing options. £68 million clause can be paid in installments. Spurs are also keen. Arsenal also alert to Rodrigo's situation, but player has to first clarify his future with Xabi Alonso. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you read that piece of news and you're gassed. You're buzzing. You know, linked with Eze. And also, Rodrigo is name dropped in there. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that, right? That's a better situation than Chelsea right now being linked with Gittins, I'll be honest. Each to their own, based on what each club actually needs. But for me, Eze is someone that I just didn't think was leaving Palace. Because we've not heard of his name up until now, and he would have been one of the first names to turn to, surely. So I just put two and two together in my head because I thought of Eze. But I'm like, nah, he's not for sale, surely. Palace not letting him go, you know? Unless a club comes in. Now we know there's a clause. Now we know there is a clause. That's something to take into consideration. £68 million clause. Eze is a weird one. I'm going to ask you guys this question. Would you take Gittins or Eze? It's an interesting question, isn't it? I'll be honest, my gut is telling me Eze. Immediately, like I go to my gut feeling, Eze. You know, my first instinct is telling me Eze. But we'll see on that front. They are kind of different, but also quite similar. I get, actually, you know what? You could actually argue Eze is a bit more versatile. Because Eze can play as a sort of inside forward. But he was a left winger and can play as a winger. An in and out winger he can do. We've seen him do that time and time again. But coming in more central, playing in behind a striker as an inside forward or a left forward, he can actually do that too. So there is a good profile to the player. Premier League proven too. Very, very good technicality. Very quick. Good skill. Very good skill. And you know what? Eze would fit in the Arsenal team like a glove. Like a glove. Eze is that, I don't know like about now if it's the same perception as before. But I'm going to say back in my day, we think Arsenal 03-04, yeah? And Arsenal had the hottest academy in the country. All the young ballers wanted Arsenal. They wanted to play for Arsenal. Arsenal was the hottest thing in town, yeah? But Arsenal were always renowned with quick, technical, skillful ballers. You know, that's it. And they still hold that sort of reputation to this day, although now it's kind of changed a bit. It's moved on from the Arsene Wenger days, of course. But when you think of a player like Eze, and you say, what club would you throw him into? First club, Arsenal. You just would. You just would. So, yeah, I think he'd fit like a glove at Arsenal. But is it going to happen? Is it not? Well, he's got a clause. Depends who's going to trigger it. We'll see. Rodrigo's not leaving Madrid. Straight up. He's not leaving Madrid. His name keeps getting mentioned from time to time. I think he seems pretty clear, at least on his socials, and also pretty clear in terms of Xabi Alonso coming to Real Madrid now, and there's not really been much since he's been playing. I think it's clear that he's going to get his spot at Real Madrid. So I don't see him leaving. We'll see what happens, though. Let me know your thoughts. Much appreciated. Now, Berbatov, 2025 Berbatov. What's the latest on him? Here it is. So exclusive, Bayern and Nick Woltermaid have reached a full verbal agreement on a summer transfer. Yeah, the 23-year-old versatile striker wants to join Bayern with immediate effect. Long-term contract until 2030 with salary terms already agreed in the last days. Bayern Supervisory Board have already approved the deal. There have been no negotiations between the clubs yet. The contract with VfB is valid until 2028 with no release clause. VfB want to keep him. So this is going to be, I think, quite an interesting move for him. Stays in Germany. That's one. Bayern Munich are the best that you can go to in Germany. He's a player that in Germany is already showing really, really good things. We don't know if you were to take him out and put him in England, for example, what is he really going to do? We don't know. And especially with his profile, it's a bit of a weird one. You know, 6'7", moves, glides, moves like Berbatov, moves like Peter Crouch, you know, that sort of player, except quite quick for his size. I'm surprised, but not surprised. I'm not surprised Bayern Munich have moved for him. But I'm surprised that Bayern Munich have actually got the deal done this early for him. Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, obviously not club to club, but with the player, it's done. So looks like Woltermaid for any of us isn't happening. So we can tick that one off the list. So let me know your thoughts on that. How do you think he'll perform at Bayern Munich? Let me know. I think it's a good trajectory for him as well. Harry Kane, let's be honest, doesn't have that long left. Yeah, we've got to be real. So there is a pathway for him. And especially within German football. I think it's low risk, high reward. And for his age, I think it's a very good, it could be a very good deal. Something that could work in the long run for Bayern Munich. So let's wait and see, and we'll get to know him better in the next few years, I reckon. Anyway, let's see. Let me know your thoughts. And to end, Cristiano Ronaldo, like I told you guys earlier on, signed a new deal at Al-Nassr. Well, we're going to end the video on the details. Now, you might want to strap yourselves in for this one, so then your head doesn't explode, or you don't fall off your seat, or someone doesn't have to slap you, so then you actually acknowledge that you are living for real and what you've heard is actually legit. So, yeah, hold on to your seats, strap in. Here it is. Details of Ronaldo's new contract at Al-Nassr. 178 million a year, 3.4 million a week. This is in pounds, by the way. 15% ownership of Al-Nassr. That's estimated to be worth around 33 million pounds. 24.5 million pounds signing bonus, increasing to 38 if he activates the second year of his contract. 80,000 pound bonus per goal, increases by 20% in the second year. 40,000 pounds bonus per assist, increases by 20% in the second year. 8 million pound bonus if Al-Nassr wins the Saudi Pro League title. 4 million pound bonus if he wins the Saudi Pro League Golden Boot. 6.5 million pound bonus if Al-Nassr qualify for the Asian Champions League and win it. I'm sorry, hang on. I mean, at the moment, he's earning more than Chelsea Football Club does at the Club World Cup. This is insane. And I'm not even done. 4 million pounds worth of private jet expenses covered by Al-Nassr. 60 million pounds worth of sponsorship deals promised by Al-Nassr with new Saudi companies and companies in the Asian market. Plus 16 people working full-time for him, including 3 drivers, 4 housekeepers, 2 chefs, 3 gardeners, and 4 security people. I'm out of breath just saying all that. I think that's the best contract in world football. Surely, that is actually the best contract in world football. I have nothing to say. I legit have absolutely nothing to say. I prefer not to speak. It's as simple as that. Ronaldo, listen, I mean, he's earned it. I'll be honest, he's earned this. He's at the end of his career. He's ending his career like this. I mean, holy, you know what, mate? Holy crap. I mean, wow. That is not just milking it. That is flipping. You own the factory, mate. You know, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I told you guys, I'm telling you. Money is not a problem for the Saudis. There's some people that honestly believe, oh, it's not sustainable. You don't understand. I beg you lot, come to this part of the world and just take a look. Just take a look. And you know what? When you actually speak to people and you're in touch with, obviously here, with Emiratis, or if you're in Saudi, you're in touch with Saudis, and you actually hear the way things are and the way things run, I'm telling you, the money is unlimited. When I say unlimited, I'm not just saying, yeah, no, they've got a good stack. Nah, brother. It's lasting forever. It's actually unlimited. I'm flipping out. It's not a problem for them. For them, what they want, it's not money. For them, they want number one. They want the power. They want prestige. They want accomplishment. They want achievement. And all of this is steering towards Saudi football and the 2034 World Cup in Saudi and what they want Saudi football to look like by that point. So they're thinking in what's going to happen in the next 8 to 10 years. That's them. And whatever money's needed, it's here. Don't worry. You think they're stupid to keep Ronaldo on this money? They know they have to. And they will do it. And they have done it. And they're happy to do it. And it's not a problem. And they're not looking for money back. They're looking for the long-term investment of what this is going to do for Saudi football. That's it. That's it. I'm telling you, they're on a different plane. They're on a different level. A different level. I mean it. Ronaldo, congrats, mate. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a double. Tomorrow is going to be also the preview for Benfica-Chelsea. So make sure you guys are here because we do kick off on Saturday night. 9 p.m. UK time, I think it is. So preview tomorrow. I'll see all of you then. Thank you so much. Look after yourself. Subscribe, notification bell on. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.